Peace. What up? What up? Super today. Super today. I'm Soupalawyer. Soupalawer. This is the Super today. I want to get into a little story, but before I get into that, I want to give a thank you to my brother Israel, who without this wouldn't be possible. Thank you for holding me down when I was incarcerated. Throughout that time I was incarcerated, and now that I'm home, you're still here helping me with this this whole getting myself together now that I'm home. I appreciate you, bro. But I want to talk about resisting arrest. I was on the phone with my cousin Lai, and he was telling me a story about a friend of his had a resisting arrest charge. And the story that his friend gave him was that he was just someplace and the officers had approached him, and he refused to speak to the officers. And when he refused to speak to the officers, basically they arrested him and charged him with resisting arrest. Now, there was no charge that the officers was arresting him for, anything like that. But eventually he ended up beating the case. But what I want you to do is I want you to go on Google and I want you to type in 5104 resisting arrest, Pennsylvania. This is a Pennsylvania statute. If you're looking at this and you're from another state, you might need to check the statute numbers for it might be different in every state. So check whatever state that you in, look for resisting arrest, and the statutes might be different. Even the citation to the statute might be different. And what I mean by the citation is basically the citation gives a description of what a person has to do to actually be guilty of resisting arrest. So again, the guy, my cousin Lai, his friend, had beat the resisting arrest charge. And one of the ways that he beat the resisting arrest charge was for the fact that there was no lawful arrest being made. The officers was not arresting him for nothing. He just refused to speak to the officer. And when he refused to speak to the officer, the officer must have gotten his feelings, and just arrested him, charged him with resisting arrest. But that's not resisting arrest. Another way is if the officer was coming to arrest him for a charge, it was a lawful arrest, and he was resisting and he was fighting with the officer, and somehow the officer got injured. Being that the officer was injured, a bodily injury, that's something that you need to look at the citation to the statute for resisting arrest. And it does, say that when you create a substantial risk of bodily injury, bodily harm to the officer that's, placing you under lawful arrest, then that is resisting arrest. But if the officer was coming to arrest him on a charge and he just ran from the officer and he didn't put the officer in no harm's way, the officer couldn't sustain any bodily injuries after, for chasing behind him to arrest him for the charge. If there was no bodily injury caused to the officer or anything like that, then resisting arrest, it wouldn't have been, he wouldn't have been able to be found guilty of resisting arrest. But never believe what you hear. We got a saying, believe only half of what you hear, believe none of what you hear, and half of what you see. So you definitely want to check the statute for resisting arrest, 5104. And another thing I want to bring to your attention is, please don't let what I'm wearing or who I am, stop you from accepting this information that you might read for the resisting arrest statute. Because I'm not in a button-up or a suit and tie, don't look at me and what I'm wearing, and let that stop you from using this information to keep you home with your family. You need to be home with your family, so don't let something like this, stop you from using this information. And for the family members and the people that's out in the world, who have people incarcerated, the people incarcerated need this information. So please, don't let what I'm wearing, because I'm not in a button-up or a suit and tie, stop you from getting this information to your loved one that's incarcerated, or giving it to their attorney, so that way their attorney could, present this matter properly in the court to bring these people home. Nobody needs to be in that dungeon. It's dark, it's oppressive in jail. We need our brothers, our sisters, we need these people home. I'm home now. I'm doing what I'm doing here. I'm for the people, with bringing the peoples home, keeping the families together. This is what I'm here for, to take a load off your hands, to free up some time for you to do what it is that you got to do out in the world, to keep everything situated for these people. When they come home, they could just get right back in line as if they never left. So, please give this information to the attorney, give this information to your loved one who might be incarcerated. They need this information. We want our families home. We need to keep the families together. This is Super Today. I hope you feel better. I'm always souped up. I'm souped up. You souped up now that you got this information. Please use it. Peace.